Split Decision, out August 22nd on Smoke Sessions Records, celebrates the 20th anniversary of their first saxophone battle. There's also a Split Decision album release show coming out August 13th through the 17th at Smoke Jazz Club in New York City. Who am I talking about? Saxophone greats Vincent Herring and Eric Alexander reunited for their powerhouse third album, recorded live at Smoke Jazz Club, featuring pianist Mike Ladon, bassist John Weber, and drummer Lewis Nash. And joining us today are the saxophonists indeed. Vincent Herring, great to see you, Vincent.
Thank you very much. Great to be seen and great to see you.
Eric Alexander, pleasure to have you back.
It wasn't a split decision because it's like the night Foreman fought five men in the ring when he was trying to come back after the Rumble in the Jungle, and Lewis Nash won. Thank you, Doug.
While the 2005 The Battle Concert Series evoked the antagonistic tradition of cutting contests and sax duels, Eric Alexander and Vincent Herring's second meeting, Friendly Fire in 2011, suggested that its heated exchanges were at least an amiable term. The latter was recorded and subsequently released on High Note Records in 2012. Wow, it's the third album. It's Split Decision time. Eric, why did the two of you want to put this album out now?
Well, I learned a lot from the first two fights because, like George Foreman said, when he fought Ali, he wanted to kill him, and Ali just wanted to win a fight. And there's a difference. You lose your head when you want to kill somebody. So I realized I loved Vincent, and I wanted to win on points. So I went to a split decision. The judge's scorecard is still being rendered. We're waiting for Michael Buffer to give it officially. It's subjective. It's in the eyes of the public, and it doesn't matter. I just love playing with Vincent Herring. It's my favorite thing. Favorite thing in the world.
Vincent, take us back to the first time you guys got together on stage in the 90s, and this either rivalry or at least an appreciation for each other's playing started. Was it friendly at first?
I'd have to say so because I'm a fan and I admire Eric. I took him for his first trip to Japan, whatever year that was, Eric can tell you. And I had a saxophone group that was with Eric Alexander and Bob Berg on tenor saxophone and Don Harrison on alto and a rhythm section. And of course, it was set up as kind of like a battle royal. And so every night we would open up with the four saxophones playing. And then I'd nudge Eric out there to go battle it out with Bob Berg. And it was fun to see that. And I realized, hey, he can hold his own with anybody. And I just really, really admired him as a player. And when we did that first CD, I didn't realize how popular it would become. But, the band has, a small but sincere following. All the records have been transcribed, so you
It's
get
kind of like the Green Party or Bernie Sanders loyalists.
they're there. Yeah, and so one thing led to another, and whenever we can find space, we always carve out to do some stuff together. I mean, he has his band and his things that he does. I have my band and stuff that I do, but when I get a chance to work with Eric, I enjoy it very much.
When you first were battling it out, you were already established, Vincent, with working with legends like Nat Adderley and Freddie Hubbard and Cedar Walton and Horace Silver. And then here comes Eric. And I know that you said the first time you heard him play, you were like, yeah, this guy can play. Were you kind of surprised how good he was at that time?
Yeah, because the first time I met him, I was sitting at the kitchen table at Carl Allen's house, and we were playing cards, just talking smack about stuff, and the doorbell rings, and Carl says, "Oh man, there's this kid. I gotta go. I'm doing a record with him. He's bringing me some music or something." And that was Eric, and Eric came up, and I said, "Hi, Mr. Herring, blah blah blah," and I said, "Okay." And then when he left, I said to Carl, I said, "Can he play?" Carl said, "I guess." So I didn't know what to expect. And then when I heard him, I was like, man, this guy can actually
Yeah, he's
play.
pretty good. He actually can play.
When I had a chance to take this group to Japan, saxophone group, um, and they asked me to please bring one young guy, and I thought this is the guy, and
That's
that
true.
was my opinion of him. To battle it out with Bob Berg,
Yeah.
hey man, go ahead. I thought man highly of him, and that's why I did.
Ah,
And we've been battling out
thanks
ever
a
since.
lot, man. It's like I was like Chuck Wepner going up against Foreman and then Ali. Just get pounded.
Eric, when you got the call from Vincent to go to Japan, did that kind of give you,
Hope?
well, I guess hope, but validation, I think, is the word I'm looking
No,
for,
no.
that you
I
were.
gotta tell you, Doug, I was doing okay on my own. Despite my laughter, I was very intimidated by Vincent, and I did consider him an elder, and I most assuredly was terrified of Bob Berg. I mean, it needs no discussion. I didn't really care about Donald Harrison. He was nice to me. I don't have any scars on my body from Donald Harrison. He was on the tour too. But I was a little scared of Vince. I was actually trying to stand up for my own reputation because I was quite popular. The reason why I was one of the reasons they co-signed Vince's selection of me was that I had already established myself. I was very popular in Japan already, and I hadn't even done anything. I think I had the look. I was like the Prel girl shampoo. Look, Japanese jazz fans wanted like Mr. America with Lego Snap-on hair, so they're gonna throw me in there. But I didn't feel that I wasn't worthy. I felt I could do it. I made a few mistakes along the way. I I didn't come in with a heavy artillery. I learned after that tour that you don't fight a Panzer tank with a pea shooter. You just don't. You just flee the region. If you're gonna do that, flee the region. That's it. Sometimes you got to come in strong. You got to come in guns blazing.
And for those who don't remember, that tour, dubbed the Young Lions, featured an all-star sax front line with Bob Berg and Donald Harrison, the rhythm section of pianist Joey Calderazzo, bassist Richie Goods, and drummer Ollie Jackson. Now, when we talk about this new album, this is one that people have wanted to hear. A split decision, a testament that delivering the vitality and excitement of being there when these sax giants face off is something special. The album kicks off with Pharaoh's Dance, trombonist Steve Toure's homage to Pharaoh Sanders and McCoy Tyner, originally recorded in 2022 on Smoke Sessions Records. Tell us about this, Vincent. Tell us why you wanted to open up with Pharaoh's Dance and what this tune means to you.
Well, putting together the songs on the CD is kind of like a puzzle because everything's got to fit in a certain time slot. And the song itself, I knew from doing gigs with Steve Toure. I'd played through that song, and I was looking for material. And I said to Eric, I said, I got a tune from Steve Toure, man. It's pretty nice. And Eric heard it, and he loved it right away. And so we decided that we wanted to include it. And out of the material that we included, we liked it to start off the record, and the rest is history, and that's how it went down.
You've really picked some nice selections here, and the playing is just beautiful. Uh, to the fast pace of Pekasek and the classy soft impressions. Eric, what kind of collaboration do you need to work on to say, yeah, these are the songs that we want? That has to be kind of a really knockdown, drag out kind of decision, doesn't it? A split.
No, no, it's not at all. It's like the United Nations General Assembly. It has to be absolutely unanimous or it doesn't pass. And I go along with everything Vince says, but on rare occasion, I raise my hand and, I'm representing Zimbabwe and I don't like a certain thing and I say no, and it can't pass. It's done. It cannot pass through the General Assembly. Um, Even if everyone else wants to do it, if I raise my hand and say no, Vince will say, then it's tabled. We're not doing it. He won't put me through that. But we share the same musical aesthetic. And I'm not the kind of person that likes sitting around pondering what kind of tunes to play. And I just leave it to Vince, because whatever he wants to play, I'm going to enjoy it. And I probably forgot to think about it.
Vincent, the closing Moe's theme comes from your songbooks of former employers, Horace Silver and Nat Adderley. So obviously that tune was an easy one for you to pick.
Well, again, I was just going through everything I had trying to find good songs, and that song is composed by Rob Bogard. And I just thought it fit this particular band, and so we did it. No problem. Eric dug it. In fact, we're in Japan right now, and I'm glad you said that because I think we should do that song. I'll print it out tomorrow and give it to the
Maybe
ladies.
not. Maybe not. I think we got enough material. Just get home in one piece.
Okay.
Vincent, what have you learned about Eric through the years that maybe when you first saw him, you had no idea?
That I'm black.
That he's a very that he's a very gifted musician. Uh, there's a lot of great players that have a lot of talent, but he has some special abilities and some things that, we're both involved in education and teaching. And there's some things that, everybody can learn, but he has some special abilities. And I knew as the way Harold Mayburn used to speak about Eric all the time. Um, but it's true, I speak about him like that now. He's just an amazing musician, and not just your typical good player, but he's a special musician.
Same question for you, Eric. What have you learned about Vincent that maybe you had no idea, what you
What
were
what have I
going to,
learned about him, or what have
yeah.
I learned from him?
I'd say learn about him or learn
Well,
from
I,
could be.
I don't learn about too much because he keeps his thoughts to himself about serious personal things. I mean, I've just through knowing him, I know he has a heart of gold. He's a family man. He takes care of his kids. I mean, he would take a bullet for anybody he likes. As a musician, what I've learned from him is something he preaches, and he's not preaching to the choir because I'm sloppy. I'm a very sloppy person when it comes to preparation. I like to wing it. I really love to be out on a tightrope and kind of wipe out and then find my way home. But what I learned from Vincent is this: if you are prepared, like Rocky Marciano, all year for a 15-round fight, the best you can be prepared, then there's no guesswork at all. You're going to go out there, you're going to hit a bar. You might not hit the bar you want every single night, but you're going to hit a bar that's better than anybody else because you're prepared. And Vincent is prepared. But it's more than that. He's a naturally gifted and soulful musician. But there are a lot of naturally gifted and soulful musicians out there that suck because they don't train. Vincent trains. He keeps me up. He's practicing next door to me. Every day he does. Vincent Herring cares very deeply about music, and he believes that it's not even work. The labor, quote unquote, that he has to put in to do a good job is a joy. He's prepared. He's not messing around. And so I better not mess around either. I'll just get steamrolled, and it's not out of animosity. That's just the way it goes. It's a caterpillar asphalt flattener rolling over a cockroach. I mean, I got to be ready.
Split Decision once again is out August 22nd on Smoke Sessions Records, celebrating the 20th anniversary of Eric and Vincent's saxophone battle. Now, there's also going to be release shows August 13th through August 17th at Smoke Jazz Club in New York City. Eric, how has it been working with this band? You're familiar with all the players for many years, Mike LaDon,
But
John Weber, and
this
Lewis Nash.
band, one of Lou Donaldson's favorite things to say, tongue in cheek, or sometimes with absolute seriousness, was, "This band should disband." Um, and he would say that if he loved the band, he'd say it too. But sometimes he really meant it. Now, this band, if the band it has to protect me like Secret Service agents, I want this band. If all hell breaks loose and I wipe out, that's my own fault. I mean, these guys are so good. Vince can tell you more about it. I couldn't pick from chair to chair. Anybody better than them. There's nothing I could add to those people or take away from them that would improve the band. It's
Yeah,
apples and oranges, but that's the highest you can get to right now on planet Earth. So how do I feel about the
very,
band?
very, very inspiring too, man. They
Oh my
really.
God.
In fact, every other night we're talking about how much we're looking forward to this job at Smoke with that band. It's
That's
gonna
not
be
hyperbole. We're talking about it every night. Just wait till we get back and fire it up with Lewis Nash, Mike Ladon, John Weber, because you know what? People better get ready, and they better batten down the hatches, and they better be loaded for bear, not cucumber, because we're coming in. We're coming in guns blazing, two guns blazing, Sunny Stitt, Old West. It's going to be a firepower of love.
Vincent, I'm curious when you play something that has Horace Silver's touch to it, the memories that come back, each time you play, I would imagine it evokes certain moments in your life that you remember, spending time with Horace Silver.
well, bittersweet. I mean, first of all, that was a job that I had when I was immature as a musician, and I wasn't ready for that job. So at some point when YouTube first came out, someone started posting clips of that gig, but they would just show the band playing the melody and they would just post Dave Douglas solos. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you so much. And this went on for a while. But then they started posting full tracks. I was like, oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. And because, it was one of those things, man, I wasn't ready for the gig. But I had that opportunity. Listen, when I started working with Cedar Walton, the first gig I did with Cedar Walton was at the Village Vanguard. And at the end of the job, Cedar said, yeah, young Herring, you're very promising, but not ready yet. He said, I'll call you again in a few years. And I was devastated, but, it was a truth bomb. And true to his word, a few years later, he called me for a gig. And he said, I want you to make some jobs with me until I can find a tenor player I like. I said, okay. And that was how
And
I
I said, "What about me?" And Cedar said, "Lord," he said, Lord Alexander, I think you're too expensive."
no, he really liked you. He really
Yeah,
liked
well,
you.
whatever. He'd
Vincent,
say,
does that kind of talk, Vincent, motivate you? You said, you eventually, earned the trust of these guys, but did that motivate you to be a better player or
Are you
anger
kidding?
you or what?
No, it just made me. Well, when I worked with Horace, it was I had to really reflect and be honest with myself where I was as a musician and where I wanted to go. And so, if anything, it motivated me, but not, it didn't anger me. It was just an enlightenment. So then by the time I left that job and I started trying to just practice and get better and better, and then I started working with Nat Adderley. And, and again, when I started working with Nat, I was really in the beginning stages of my development, but Nat could hear where it was going, and I'm grateful I had that opportunity to develop myself as a player around those incredible musicians.
Doug, I'd like to say something, and this is, I believe it, on a philosophical level, it applies to all human beings in any endeavor of importance to the particular individual who's endeavoring to do something. Okay. Vincent's being very humble and he's saying you didn't play well back then. And if you ask me the same question, how did you play with Eric when you played with Charles Erland in 1991? I'd say, well, I wasn't ready and blah, blah, blah. But Vincent and I keep hearing our recording from 20 years ago. And we thought back then, we can't play at all. We suck. And we're hearing that. There's something to be said. As James Mooney said, I would never tell a young pony not to run around the barnyard. We're firing. And it's kind of making us mad. We're going into deeper training. So we weren't playing that bad. It's just that we didn't know how to appreciate the natural gifts that we had that we were already applying because our heads are spinning. Well, at least that's true in my case. I was playing fine. I was playing fine back then. I mean, it wasn't great, and it's not great now. Sometimes it is.
You were actually playing okay back with Charles Early. I
All
thought
right.
so. But for me, it was really, like I say, it was really important for my development to go through that with Horace, and then later with, like I said, that first gig with Cedar, he just told me, he said, "Man, you're very promising, but not yet."
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I
Whew.
mean, what
That's
can you
not
say?
rough. You know what, Doug? That's I gotta say that's not rough. I wish there was more of that today. That's a very direct assessment.
It was
There's no animosity, no meanness, no intent to hurt a person. He just said you're not quite ready yet. Keep practicing. You know what? Somebody like Vincent or me would appreciate that.
Yeah, just like a coach, right after you're going to cut somebody. You're
You know, well, I mean, it's
right.
harder. It's harder to be the coach that cuts people that you care about than it is to be the person cut. Because the person cut could just quit and say, screw the coach, I'll go do something else, and for the rest of their life call him an asshole, or go back and get better and come back and then get hired. So, this world is not easy. And the minute we want everything to be easy, well, the whole thing's going to fall apart. I mean, we got to fight for stuff. You got to fight for what you believe in. You got to.
You know, funny looking at it now, I'm glad that Cedar said what he said at the time, because it made me seriously um, practice, and next thing you know, a few years later led to a 21-year association with Cedar.
That's beautiful. Isn't that great?
It is, and but at the
I
moment
was
when
so jealous. I was so jealous. I would go down to the Village Vanguard every year. He'd see her do his trio, then he'd do something with Jackie, then Vince is in there, whatever it was. Every year. Yeah, it's 15 freaking years in a row that I go down there and at the Christmas time and hear Vince and Harry. I'm like, can I ever get a break?
On
well,
talking about venues, Smoke Jazz Club means a lot to you, Eric, and can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, I could talk for about 6 months. Do you want me to be brief?
Yeah, I do want you to be
It's
brief.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. That room was a college bar when I first started playing there. I would play there with Junior Cook, John Jenkins, John Oray, even Arthur Taylor would come sit in, Harold Mayburn, Cecil Payne. We'd pass the hat to make the money. And that was really Joe Farnsworth's doing. He was granted the position of straw boss for the weekend nights from Jesse Davis, who had moved to Italy. And Joe was very proactive. You want to talk about proactive? He took the bull by the horns. He said, "We're not calling some people we like that are our age. We're calling Cecil Payne, John, or Junior Cook, John." I mean, it was serious. And Paul was there, and his former co-owner of the club, Frank Christopher, was there, and they just developed not an adoration, but just an aesthetic for the kind of music that they're still promoting now in those days, because they were bartenders. They didn't own the club; they were just bartenders, and they were sitting there listening. And when the club folded, they knocked their heads together and said, "We're going to open. Let's open a jazz club. Let's get some people to help invest, and let's take the same room, and we'll take all the same people that have been playing here, and we're going to go for it." And they went for it one time. Up until the pandemic, it was half as big as it is now, right, Vincent? Half as big.
well, the
And
layout now is just much better. That's
well, of course it is. But so they took Augie's, they took what was Augie's, and they put a kitchen in the basement, and they extended the horizontal, not the vertical, the horizontal nature of the room. It had more seats, and they had a bar on the side. Then during the pandemic, sometimes you got to take lemons and make lemonade. Everything's shut down. They couldn't do anything. What did they do? They decided to ransack and buy up space near them and double the
next
size of
door.
the club. And that's a beautiful thing because they were committed. And so now they've rebranded themselves as whatever it is, like an authentic supper club with amazing. It's a supper club with great jazz and good food. You're not going to find any jazz clubs in the world with good food. If there's another one, please tell me. Well, I mean, please tell me where it is. I would like to know.
We just have a couple of minutes left, Vincent. Your final thoughts on Split Decision?
Well, I'm grateful that it's come out, and for the fans of this recording of this band, I know that they'll be happy with it also. Another day I get to play with my good friend Eric Alexander and Louis Nash and Mike Ladon and John Weber. You know, we're playing at Smoke, and that's a one of the world's great jazz clubs. It went from a little tiny bar that you didn't like to touch the table because it was sticky to like an incredible and I mean incredible jazz club. And if you could have seen it what it was, 30 years ago and what it is now, it's just amazing.
Well, that's what we're talking about. Um, I'll give my final thought along those lines. Doug Vincent has a phrase that he uses often, but he might not even be aware of it. And it's, well, another one in the books. Vincent is a jazz warhorse. I mean, he can go out and work 70 weeks in a row, and almost every gig sucks, and he doesn't care. He just says, that's another one in the books. Yeah, put it in the books. Move on, move on, move on. Keep stepping. But when we play together, that goes away about 90%. But then when you play together in a venue like that, it's gone. It's actually a joy. It's not even a job. It's like a gift from God. It's great.
The third album from saxophone greats Vincent Herring and Eric Alexander, Split Decision, coming out August 22nd on Smoke Sessions
And
Records.
I want to tell you one thing. The decision has been rendered. It's a tie. It's a draw. We gotta go. We gotta record again.
It's a draw. Well, I guess is there going to be a fourth album as well?
Yeah, there's a lot of material that we have from recording the last session that could qualify for a volume two and not take any dip in the quality.
No, but I want
Um,
you again, man. I got a new thing. I got a new punch. I want you again. I want you on a new recording. Come on.
okay.
All right.
This
Where's
friendship,
Don King? Where's Don King when we need him?
this battle and friendship continues through the years, and we are the beneficiaries of this great playing from both Eric Alexander and Vincent Herring. Eric, thanks for joining us today.
Let me tell you one more thing, Doug. I want all the other people that are trying to come up through the ranks to try to get in the ring with us. All of them. All the downbeat poll winners. Anybody out there that wants to mess with Vince Herring, I'll stand there and I'll back him up and he'll back me up. And bring it on.
Vincent, thank you so much for joining us today. You guys are incredible.
Looking forward to it. Hope to see you there.